Hello traders, very good evening and welcome to today's post-market analysis episode. This is episode 96. And before I go through today's analysis, just to go through a quick disclaimer that trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Also, the information which I'm sharing is for educational purposes only. With that, let's quickly look at how the auction developed today. And as I shared earlier, what I've done is I'm just focusing on Nifty and crude oil. So let me first start sharing my screen and let's first, go to the Nifty's analysis. So what we have here is, it's mainly the daily time frame analysis. And one thing which I shared yesterday is, we are in a sort of a balance. Okay. And what I shared is, so there are a couple of scenarios, which I shared, which we will develop. One of the scenarios look above the balance and fail. Second is look above the balance and continue. Third is be within the balance, and fourth is opposite of look below the balance and fail, and look below the balance and continue. Okay. So overall, what has happened is so out of this 5 days auction, the auction which happened today in Nifty is more or less like a look above the balance and fail. Okay, so that I'll share quickly what I mean by that. And also, if you note the volume, so volumes are also pretty decent enough today. Just a second. Where is the arrow in this? Okay, anyways, so that's fine. So let me continue. Let's go through the market profile chart. And before I sharing that, so this is nothing but the composite volume profile chart. And this was, for the 5 day balance, which is clearly visible. And from the 5 day balance, so this is the balance high, this is the balance low. And, this was the trading range which I shared. So from 9500 to 9100. Okay. And what has happened is, so once the auction developed, so so this was, this couple of levels of references. What happened is the auction opened, within the range, and then it quickly moved above. It quickly moved out of the range. Okay. So what I was expecting is whether we are seeing continuation and whether we are able to tag the highs, because there were a lot of stops, which were built here, and it did not happen. Okay. So when this case was not happen, I took a short trade with the target of the volume point of control. Okay. So that is what my overall action plan was. So let me also draw the volume profile. So this will come up later. So looking from the market profile charts, what we see here is, so these are nothing but, so these are some of the reference areas, which I've had. So there are these three lines. Okay. So what are these three lines? Okay. I'll just tell you what are these three lines. So what I did is I just created a composite profile for the past 5 trading sessions, because that is what the overall balance was. And one of the key reference area to monitor was the first of all this there was this LVN. Okay, this is one. Second thing is, if you this line is nothing but the high of the balance. Okay, and if you see the open is here, so open is within the balance. It quickly tried to move away from the balance, and then it didn't found anything. So auction was just trading sideways, and then it quickly moved into the balance. Once it came into the balance, so I sold calls of 94.50, and my target was this point of control or the low of the A period. So this I was to able to achieve in the E period. So A, B, C, D, and the E period is where I was able to achieve. Then we had a sort of a pullback. So this was a pullback, and this was easily spotted from the VSA chart. And this was also a good opportunity to take a short trade, going and targeting the lows. Okay. So this is what my overall plan was, and how I traded. And let me now split all these profiles. So let me remove all the splitting. So now I'll tell you what are the three different lines. Okay. So if I let's wait. Okay. So this line you already know. So this is nothing but the balance high. And if you see, this is where we saw sort of exhaustion. This line is nothing but the single print from the 29th of April, and this line is also one of the other single prints. So this were the level of resistance which I was just monitoring. The reason why I was monitoring this is if we break this level, so this were also where a lot of stops were built. Okay, so I was expecting to have a sharp reaction like this, but it was not there. What happened is once it broke this level, then a sort of sideways movement started establishing, and the auction quickly moved within the balance. Okay, so when this happened, it immediately gave me a confidence that that the confidence shifted from high confidence buyers to low confidence buyers. Okay, so this is what what the confidence shifted, and that actually what showed me that the buyers are weak, and there is a good opportunity to go for a short trade. Okay, so now let me delete all this reference levels, and if you look, what we have is we are sort of trading in a 6-day range. So this is day 1, this is day 2, this is day 3, this is day 4, this is day 5, and this is day 6. Okay, plus if you see, we have a big gap. So this is the island gap. Okay, so a lot of stops will be built above the 4th of May high, so do keep a note of that. And then what happened is earlier we had a sharp up move and then followed by a down move. Okay, so overall the context is bearish. Okay, now the next monitoring reference for me shifts to, first is this prominent point of control which has already been tagged. Second is there is this 45-degree line and we have this over high or clustered high. Third is this, and fourth is we have a double mechanical reference bottom. Okay, so what I'm expecting is the option to further continue to the downside. Plus there are some single prints which have already been developed, and odds are high that we'll be seeing further continuation to the downside. If not, we might see some sort of a balancing activity, because today an event happened wherein the Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi had met all the state CMs, and they might have finalized to maybe extend the lockdown, or maybe to what steps to be taken care of. Okay, so this is what is being considered, and that will impact the auction for tomorrow. Okay, so this is what I'm able to spot, and some of the trade locations. So this was the a very good trade location. So if you see, there was a clear rejection. Okay, so this was a very good trade location to go for a short trade. If you missed this, that's fine. Okay, again there was a pullback, and once the pullback came and it failed, this was a good location, because this VWAP line was acting as the level of resistance. Okay, and then we had a free fall downfall. Okay, plus this level supported the net delta. So if you see, the net delta is negative. Here there was a lot of confusion because the delta was positive and the auction was moving down. Okay, so this is how I was able to spot the short trade in Nifty. Okay, coming to crude, what's happening in crude is, so a lot of clustered lows are getting formed. Okay, and crude has been shift, so the trend has been changed to an uptrend, and I'm hoping that this is where somewhere around this level is where a lot of stops are getting built from the daily time frame, and we are just nearing that range. Okay, so crude is showing signs of bullishness, but there are some visual data points which are indicating that there are stops getting built. And also, if you draw a trend line, okay, so what is going to happen is it is going to come here, and then again we'll be seeing some sort of bounce back. Okay, so again there are some stops which are built. Okay, so a lot of volatility, a lot of I would say explosive moves are going to come in crude oil. So moving on, so crude was giving me a hint to go for a long trade. The reason for taking a long trade is because if you see, this is the range. So the range from 2nd of May till 8th of May. So this is about 5 days. So this is again a 5-day range: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and this is a 60-minute chart or a 1-hour chart. Now, what was happening is, so the crude was, finding support at the volume point of control. Okay, so this is where, it gave me a confidence that, we can go long once the option reaches above the point of control. And what had happened is, I was able to capture this big move, and then, it came down. So I was able to capture this big move, and from the market profile there was a data point that the auction is going to touch this. So I was able to capture both the up move and also the down move. The up move was for about 30 minutes. So, I was able to capture this, and the down move I was in a trade for, I think, about 2 hours. Okay, so the reason why I was able to spot this was from the market profile chart. Okay, so let me add this, and if you see, still crude is seeing bullish. So let me now show you why I was able to trade in a longer term. Okay, so what you have here is, this is nothing but a 3-day, or the composite profile of the 8th of May. Okay, so one of the point of reference was this point of control. Okay, and what had happened is, so if I, let me do one thing, let me split this, and it will provide you some more clarity. Okay, so what I was looking at is, so this is the open in today. So today is 11th of May at around 9 a.m. IST. This is the open, and if you see, what we see here is clustered highs. Okay, around some visual references we have this clustered highs. So basically there were some stops which were built. So what happened is, as soon as the auction opened, I actually took a long trade with my first target of this, and this was achieved in the first E period. And then what happened is, there was no force, or there was weak buying happening, and the auction just was developing sideways. So that's why we had one balance. When this happened, I was actually looking at this particular reference, because we also have a sort of a poor low. Okay, from the US session of the 8th of May. So once this power low was there, I was just seeing whether this is getting tagged or not. So in the UK session, what has happened is, again a sort of a balance was formed. Okay. Second thing is, there was this prominent point of control, and I was looking at the volume point of control, and then so somewhere here, so I actually bought some futures at 1820, and then when the US session opened, so it was a sharp reaction. So basically it hit all the stops which were built around this clustered highs. Okay. So if you see, this is the move which happened. So this was from 1820 to 1950. I exited around 1950. So this was a good move. Then then we had an inside bar. Then again one more inside bar. Then again it tried to go shift higher, but it was not able to tag the highs. So where this auction stops, so this is where the market profile gives you the clarity. So if you see where the auction stopped is, it stopped around this single print zone. Okay, so this is the single print zone, and this gives me an additional confidence that first of all, this is a secure high, and second thing is, there are stops which are built around the lows. Also, there is this prominent point of control. So higher the odds that the auction will go down. Okay. So once this auction was so around, I entered a trade around 1920. I shorted around 1920, and then I think before going to dinner, I exited at around 1860. Okay. So this was the second trade which I had taken, because the one of the other reason for taking this trade is, so if you see the overnight inventory, if you see the value, so if you see the value is forming lower. Okay, and here if you see the value is pretty, so basically nothing has changed. So there is no change in value. The option was just trading in the similar value which was of the 8th of May, the Friday 8th of May. Okay, so what needs to be done is, so there were a lot of buyers present. Okay, so a sharp reaction was anticipated, and it did happen. Once this, so what I was expecting is to continue higher, but when I looked left, there was this single print zone. So this was acting as the level of resistance, and that's where it gave me confidence that, once it broke out of this balance, again the auction will try to come in. Okay, So let me show you how it came in. So if I merge all this session, okay, so this is the session of 8th of May and also 11th of May, excluding the current US session. Okay, so my monitoring reference was this high. Okay, second monitoring reference was this. Okay, so that's what I shared. So this is at around 1920. Okay, so this high, this is a bit less than that, but I started around 1920, expecting that we will see a reaction at this HVM and some sort of reaction at this LVM. So that was what my trade plan was, and how I traded in crude oil. So I hope you are able to spot, understand, and how to basically use market profile through my daily analysis. And from VSA also there were a lot of signals which came in, but I did not use the VSA chart. One of the signal which gave me was this at around 8:10, when a signal was generated called trap up move. So this is where you could have taken a short trade, but apart from that, I was not able to spot any good trade signals from the VSA chart. And I was also looking at the order flow, and order flow was also it was not giving any clarity. So the savior for me was the volume profile chart and the market profile chart. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank you and would request you to please do like, subscribe, and press the bell icon if you are not, subscribed to my channel. And also feel free to share in your comments and let me know, your thoughts, or what are the other things you would like me to cover. And I would say have a good night. So here it's 10 a.m., 10 p.m. So I'll just have a quick shower and just go to sleep. Maybe I'll also do some post market analysis after taking a shower, or else I'll wake up tomorrow early morning and do that. Okay, so thank you all, and with that, thank you, and take care, and let's catch up tomorrow. Yeah, bye for now.